Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church. And I'm here today at the end of the first week about talking about the greatness of God. Now, I mentioned that I'm going to talk some more next week on the same topic. But today, I want to finish up this week with a few verses from the 8th Psalm, verses 3 and their following. And here's what the psalmist says. When I look at the night sky and see the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars you set in place, what are mere mortals that you should think about them? Human beings that you should care for them. Now, I'm going to read a little bit more in a minute, but I want to stop here. I don't know about you. I'm not an astronomer. I don't know much about the stars. Um, I never really wanted to learn that, but I do enjoy looking at the immense beauty of the sky at night. And perhaps you live in a place where there isn't a lot of what they call light noise. So you can't see the sky. When I lived in Wyoming, I mean, they call that in Montana big sky country. And it's just amazing. If you've never been there, you ought to go sometime. It is amazing. But I would look up and there wouldn't be any lights around. And it's just this magnificent panorama of little dots and and designs and things that I did know enough about to pick out. And I sit there and I think, wow, how big is God? And ever since mankind began, they've been looking at the stars and wondering about what all of that means. And somehow intuitively, our great ancestors, even without knowing about Jesus and the plan of salvation, understood that there was a power out there so much greater than themselves. And they asked the same question that the psalmist is asking here. What are mere mortals that you should think about them? Human beings that you should care for them. When I look at this great big sky, and I then think about me, how small I am. Now, I'm not a little guy. My wife tells me I'm a big man. And I suppose I'm bigger than some and not as big as others. But when I stand there and look at that sky and think about me, it's like, how could God care about me when He's got all that up there? But He did, and He does. What are mere mortals? Well, what we are, this passage goes on to say a little bit more. So let's read the next few verses. You made them a little lower than yourself and crowned them with glory and honor. You made them. Them is us, mortals. You gave them charge of everything you made, putting all things under their authority, the flocks and the herds and all the wild animals, the birds in the sky, the fish in the sea, and everything that swims in the ocean currents. O Lord, your majesty fills the earth. Who are we? Who are you? Do you think you're important? Do you think that you're special? Well, some of you overthink that and believe you're the center of the earth, but you're not. I hate to tell you that, but you're just not that important. But we are important to God. Each one of us. Whether we feel like it, whether we believe it, doesn't matter. It says God made us just a little lower than himself. And he put man in charge of all he created. Do you hear that? We are the caretakers of God's handiwork. Now, I know a lot of people look at the world and think we can exploit it. It's ours for the taking. Well, it's ours for the using, and it's ours for the taking care of. But it ultimately only belongs to God. And so, whatever we have, we are responsible to God to take care of it. He made us a little lower than himself, and he gave us the charge to take care of everything that he made. Now, you think about that for a minute. That makes you important. That makes you worthwhile. That makes you somebody special. You and I are given the unique privilege to manage, to share, to explain, to represent the greatness of God to everyone that we meet. Those that we know real well and those that we barely know at all. God created us for that purpose. And we can see that kind of relationship when we go into the New Testament and read about Jesus and his sacrifice on our behalf. It says, Lord, oh Lord, how majestic is your name. Is that how you respond day after day after day? If it isn't, well, try it. Try getting up in the morning or before you go to bed at night and look at the things that are around you that God made and be thankful. If you do that, well, you just might find that life takes a new meaning. Thank you for listening. Hope you have a great weekend. As I said, I'll be back on Monday with some more thoughts about the greatness of God. And in the meantime, if you have a need or a prayer concern, let us know. And we'll do everything we can, as fast as we can, to help meet your need. Thank you for listening. God bless you. I'll talk to you again.